Welcome back to Nutrition Wellness. Today, we are tackling one of the most famous, most debated, and most misunderstood liquids in the history of natural health. We are talking about apple cider vinegar. If you go onto the internet right now, you will find two camps. Camp A says it is a miracle cure-all that melts fat while you sleep. Camp B says it is snake oil, total nonsense, and just a sour salad dressing. Today, we are going to ignore the hype and we are going to look strictly at biochemistry. Because the truth, the scientific truth, is actually more fascinating than the marketing. We are going to spend the next some time dismantling exactly how apple cider vinegar works in the human body. And I'm not just going to tell you it helps with weight loss. I'm going to tell you how. We are going to look at enzymes, hormonal signaling, genetic pathways, and liver function. We are going to explain why this fermented apple juice is actually a potent metabolic medicine that rivals some pharmaceuticals in its ability to control blood sugar. If you have been stuck in your weight loss journey, if you have stubborn belly fat that refuses to budge no matter how much you exercise, if you feel tired after you eat, this video is the missing key you have been looking for. We are going to cover the 5 specific physiological mechanisms of how it burns fat, and then, at the end, I'm going to give you the exact protocol, the dosage, the timing, and the method to get these results without ruining your teeth or burning your throat. Let's dive deep. First, let's clear up a misconception. The magic of apple cider vinegar has very little to do with the apples themselves. You aren't losing weight because of apple vitamins. The magic is in the fermentation. When you crush apples and let them ferment, the sugars turn into alcohol, hard cider. Then bacteria are added to convert that alcohol into something else, acetic acid. Acetic acid is the holy grail here. It is a short-chain fatty acid. It gives vinegar its sour smell and its pungent taste. When we talk about the benefits of ACV today, we are really talking about the benefits of acetic acid. Why does this matter? Because your body can use acetic acid as energy, but more importantly, acetic acid acts as a signaling molecule. It doesn't just sit there, it gives instructions to your cells and your genes. So, when you take a shot of ACV, you aren't just drinking a beverage. You are sending a chemical code to your metabolism. Let's look at the first instruction it sends. The number one reason people are overweight today is not because they are lazy. It is because of chronic hyperinsulinemia, chronically high insulin levels caused by high blood sugar. Every time you eat a carbohydrate, bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, your body breaks it down into glucose. Your blood sugar spikes. Your pancreas releases insulin to bring it down. Insulin is a fat storage hormone. As long as insulin is high, fat burning is switched off. Here is where ACV performs its first miracle. It acts as an alpha amylase inhibitor. Let me explain that. Alpha amylase is an enzyme in your saliva and your digestive tract. Its job is to take a long chain of starch, like a piece of bread, and chop it up into tiny little sugar molecules so they can be absorbed into your blood. Acetic acid temporarily blocks this enzyme. So, imagine you eat a piece of bread. Usually, 100% of that bread turns to sugar. If you consume ACV before that meal, the acetic acid prevents the enzyme from doing its job efficiently. Instead of that bread turning into a massive sugar spike, a portion of those carbohydrates pass through your system undigested. You are essentially turning a high glycemic food into a lower glycemic food. You are lowering the calorie impact of the meal without changing the food itself. Studies have shown that consuming vinegar with a high-carb meal can improve insulin sensitivity by anywhere from 19% to 34%. That is a massive number. That is the difference between storing that meal as fat on your hips or burning it off as energy. Now, let's move to the stomach. Mechanism number 2 is called delayed gastric emptying. Have you ever eaten a huge meal, but an hour later you are looking for a snack? That happens because your stomach emptied too fast, causing a rapid rise and then a rapid crash in blood sugar. That crash triggers the hunger hormone, ghrelin. Acetic acid slows down the rate at which food leaves your stomach and enters your small intestine. Think of it like a traffic cop. Instead of letting all the food rush into the intestine at once, ACV puts up a stop sign and says, "One car at a time, please." This does two things. First, it trickles sugar into the bloodstream slowly, preventing that massive spike we just talked about. Second, and perhaps more importantly for weight loss, it physically keeps you fuller for longer. The vagus nerve in your stomach sends a signal to your brain saying, "I am full." Because the food stays in the stomach longer, that "I am full" signal stays on for hours. There was a fascinating study where participants ate bread with vinegar versus bread without vinegar. The vinegar group reported significantly higher satiety, fullness, and, crucially, they naturally ate 200 to 275 fewer calories throughout the rest of the day. They didn't try to diet. They just didn't want the food. Over a month, 200 calories a day is nearly 2 pounds of fat loss, just by adding vinegar. Now we are going to get into the really advanced science. This is where ACV separates itself from just being a diet trick. We need to talk about an enzyme called AMPK. AMPK is often described as the metabolic master switch inside your cells. When AMPK is activated, your body shifts from storage mode to burn mode. It tells the cell, "Hey, we need energy. Start burning fat." Usually, AMPK is activated by things like fasting or high-intensity exercise. But research shows that acetic acid can chemically activate AMPK. When you consume ACV, and that acetic acid hits your liver cells and muscle cells, it flips the switch. It inhibits the genes responsible for lipogenesis, fat creation, and activates the genes responsible for fat oxidation, fat burning. This is crucial because many people have a broken metabolism. They can diet, they can exercise, but their cells are stuck in storage mode due to hormonal resistance. ACV helps force that switch manually. It increases the expression of genes that break down fat. So, while you are sitting there working at your desk, the acetic acid is working on a cellular level to encourage your mitochondria to use fat for fuel. You cannot talk about weight loss without talking about the liver. We often ignore the liver, but it is the central processing unit of your metabolism. Many people who are overweight have a condition called fatty liver. Even if they don't drink alcohol, it's visceral fat stored inside the liver organ. When your liver is full of fat, it cannot regulate insulin. It cannot detoxify the body. It becomes an insulin resistance machine. This is why people with a belly, that hard, round beer belly, struggle so much to lose weight. That is liver fat pushing out. ACV is incredibly effective at targeting liver fat. The acetic acid helps to mobilize triglycerides, fat, out of the liver. It improves the ratio of insulin to glucagon, which facilitates fat loss from the organ itself. As your liver loses fat, it heals. As it heals, your insulin sensitivity returns. As insulin sensitivity returns, your body naturally starts to shed the excess weight around the midsection. This is why ACV is so specifically effective for abdominal obesity. You might not lose weight in your face or your toes immediately, but you will notice your waist circumference shrinking. That is the visceral fat mobilizing. The final mechanism is one we are just starting to understand: gut health. You have pounds of bacteria in your gut. If you are overweight, your bacterial profile is likely different from someone who is lean. Overweight individuals tend to have a higher ratio of bacteria that are very efficient at extracting calories from food. They literally get more energy out of the same apple than a skinny person does. ACV is a fermented food, if you get the raw kind, which we will discuss. But even more than the probiotics, the acetic acid alters the pH of the colon. It creates a slightly more acidic environment which is hostile to pathogens, bad bacteria, but very favorable for beneficial bacteria like lactobacillus and bifidobacteria. By optimizing your gut flora, you reduce systemic inflammation. Inflammation is a major driver of obesity. When your gut is inflamed, your brain receives signals to hold onto weight. By calming the gut with organic acids, you lower the inflammatory set point of your body, allowing weight loss to happen easier. Before we get to the protocol, I need to be responsible and tell you what this does not do. It does not melt fat if you are eating pizza and donuts 3 times a day. Mechanism 1, blocking starch, and Mechanism 2, slowing digestion, cannot overcome a 5,000 calorie diet of processed junk. You cannot out-supplement a bad diet. Think of ACV as a force multiplier. If you are eating whole foods, if you are lowering your carbs, if you are doing intermittent fasting, ACV will take your results and multiply them by 2x or 3x. It makes your efforts more effective. It is not a magic eraser for bad habits. Okay, you are sold on the science. Now, how do you actually do this? Because most people do it wrong and some people actually hurt themselves. Here is the gold standard protocol for ACV and weight loss. Choose the right vinegar. You need organic, raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar. It should be cloudy. That cloudiness is called the mother. It contains the proteins, enzymes, and beneficial bacteria. If your vinegar is clear and looks like apple juice, it has been distilled and pasteurized. The acetic acid is there, but the mother is gone. Get the cloudy stuff. The dosage. The clinical sweet spot seems to be 2 tablespoons per day. You can start with 1 teaspoon to let your stomach adjust, but work your way up to 2 tablespoons. Do not drink it straight. I repeat, do not drink it straight. It is an acid. It will burn your esophagus and it will strip the enamel off your teeth. You must dilute it. The mixture. Take a tall glass of water, about 8 to 12 ounces. Add your 2 tablespoons of ACV. Optional but recommended, add a squirt of lemon juice, for the liver, and a pinch of pink Himalayan salt, for electrolytes. Some people add a few drops of stevia, if they can't handle the taste. That's fine. The timing. This is critical. When should you drink it? The best time is right before your biggest meal. Usually dinner. Why? Because remember Mechanism 1 and 2. We want to block the starch enzymes and slow down gastric emptying for that meal. Drinking it first thing in the morning is okay for the liver, but drinking it before food is best for blood sugar control. The delivery. Use a straw. Even diluted, it is acidic. To protect your teeth, drink it through a straw so it bypasses your front teeth. And after you drink it, rinse your mouth with plain water. Do not brush your teeth immediately after, as the enamel is soft. Wait 30 minutes. Don't use the gummies. Please throw away the ACV gummies. They are filled with sugar or sticky glucose syrup. They stick to your teeth. And most importantly, they often do not contain enough actual acetic acid to trigger the AMPK switch. You are eating expensive candy. Drink the liquid. Some of you might try this and say, "My stomach hurts." If you have gastritis, an ulcer, or severe acid reflux, ACV might irritate it initially. Paradoxically, ACV often helps reflux because reflux is usually caused by low stomach acid, not high. But if you have an inflamed stomach lining, the acid will sting. If this happens, stop. Heal the stomach lining first, using things like slippery elm or zinc carnosine, and then try ACV again later, much more diluted. Also, some people get detox symptoms, bloating or headaches, in the first few days. This is often die-off of bad bacteria in the gut. Reduce the dose to 1 teaspoon and slowly build up. Here is my challenge to you. We aren't looking for a quick fix. We are looking for metabolic repair. Commit to this for 30 days. 1 glass of water, 2 tablespoons of ACV, right before dinner. Don't change anything else initially. Just add this. Measure your waistline on day 1. Measure it on day 30. Notice your energy levels after you eat. Notice your cravings for sweets in the evening. What you will likely find is that the noise of hunger quiets down. You will find that your pants fit looser. You will find that you don't crash at 3 p.m. This is the power of working with your biochemistry rather than against it. It's simple, it's cheap, it's ancient, and modern science backs it up completely. ACV isn't magic. It's just really, really good chemistry. Thank you so much for watching this deep dive. If you learned something new about how your body works today, please hit that like button, subscribe for more science-backed health content, and share this with someone who needs to hear the real reason why this stuff works. Like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into your health, and I will see you in the next video.